Hey, what's up guys? My name is Alex and welcome to the Introductional Parkour course. In this lesson we're gonna go through the technique of this element called the King Kong. What is King Kong? Itself is a variation of a diving roll and a monkey. And as you may notice, the requirement for this move is a proper monkey technique. So if you feel comfortable enough, then you can proceed to the King Kong as well. And so, the thing I want to say that you have to warm up before doing this move, and especially you have to warm up your wrists, elbows and shoulders, just because when you're doing this element, firstly impact goes directly to your wrists, then to the elbows, then to the shoulders and then to the spine. So when you feel warm up enough and you feel confident in yourself, we can proceed to the first exercise of the King Kong. So as I mentioned before, the King Kong is a variation of the monkey vault. And therefore, we need to start with the monkey itself. So the first exercise that I would recommend you is to find a ping pong table, any kind of other long obstacle, whatever you want. And then we'll proceed with the first exercise. We will go to the squat position in a distance, I don't know, how long is it? Is it a meter and a half? So we will go to the squat position here, and then our task is to do the monkey and wait for the car on the edge of the obstacle. So that's basically all what we need to do. And the thing is here, just because we're doing the Kong, the angle of the monkey changes a little bit. So on the regular monkey, you're going from the ground over the obstacle and then to the ground once again. And here, in this exercise, you have to train yourself to get from the obstacle over the obstacle. So, how to start doing this? Put yourself in this position with your legs prepared to take off. And after that, we're gonna do the simple monkey, just as I explained in the previous monkey tutorial. So, going here, backwards for the takeoff, monkey. And then we're landing on our toes. But just to go more into details, let's see this in a slow motion. First of all, go to the position as shown on the screen. Then it's necessary to bend our legs in order to take off. And then we're doing the simple monkey with landing on both feet. By doing this exercise, you can build your first King Kong technique. And the following thing that I would recommend is to go a little bit more further away from the edge of the obstacle and trying to do it, for example, from the middle of this table. In this way, you will understand how to do the dive before the Kong. And the other thing that I would recommend you is to do this from the run-up. The run-up itself looks in the following way. We'll run on the top of the table, and from there we're going to take off directly to the Kong. We need to do that in order to understand how the speed works over here, because the speed is one of the most important key points in this element. So the following exercise is gonna look like this. We're gonna run on this table, or we can take at least one step on the top of it, and then we're gonna dive onto the edge of the table. So this exercise may look like this: one step, two step pump. And here's another variation that you can do. Running on the table, King. So, as you see, this way, you can practice your dive Kongs in a really safe way. Just remember not to use your thumbs. As I already mentioned previously in previous lessons, we're not in the breakdancing. So, putting your hand in this way may really injure your wrist and thumb. Just because imagine the whole impact goes directly to your thumb in this way, and this may not end up well. And so when we feel comfortable enough with this exercise, we can proceed to the diving exercise. Oh my god, do you know why I love ping pong tables this much? Just because it's easy to find them in parks all over the world, I believe, and it has two different sides. One is the short one and the other one is the long one. And if you're lucky enough, there will not be anything in the middle of this table. So in order to proceed to the next exercise, we need to do this from the run-up, and it's gonna look like this. So basically what we are doing is taking a run-up, and then we're doing the monkey on the top of the table without actually overcoming this. So first of all, I think it's necessary to understand the run-up before doing this. If you watch the diving roll tutorial, then you would probably know that the run-up looks like this. We're gonna go with one leg in front of us, and then with the help of the other leg, we're going to dive. So the whole technique looks like this. We're running, putting our comfortable leg in front of us, for me it's the left one, with keeping our arms behind ourselves. And so the whole takeoff is gonna look like this. We're taking off, we're diving, and then we're preparing to make an impact to our wrist. So let's see this in a slow motion. So as I already mentioned before, pay attention to the run-up. The run-up is the most important thing in a diving conk, because if you're gonna do this from the two legs, then you will not gain enough speed in order to overcome the obstacle. So pay attention to the legs and arms over here. Pay attention that you have your legs separately, but you take off almost simultaneously from them. Now start to dive with the help of your arms and legs. Now be prepared to take an impact to your arms and do the simple monkey on the obstacle. And now it's time to combine the exercise that we just learned. In order to do that, I would recommend to start with this dive on the top of the table or any other obstacle, and then doing monkey just in this direction. So the whole exercise is gonna look like this. Diving, conk. So once again, diving, conk. Dive, and then conk. So by doing this exercise, you will build confidence in yourself, and what we can do next is make more distance, I don't know how to say in English, the more farther conk on the table, and then we're gonna do the simple little monkey on the edge. So in this way, you will build confidence in yourself in the most important part of the diving conk, the actual dive to your hands. And when you're feeling comfortable and more comfortable in this exercise, we can basically proceed to the King Kong itself. So I'm gonna tell once again why I love ping pong tables. Just because you have this kind of distance and it's just perfect for a beginner to do a King Kong. So what are we going to do now is actually doing the dive and putting our arms almost on the end of the obstacle. And there's a small hint. Sometimes obstacle is not very grippy for your arms, and in order to prevent any kind of slippery, you can just a little bit spit on your arms, then make this move with your arms, and then you can try that it actually become better. But so when you're ready, we must combine our previous exercises into one. So we're actually gonna start with the run-up. Remember about the legs, that they go separately, but we're taking off almost in the same time, just in order to keep the speed. And then, with the help of our arms, we're going to put our hands somewhere here. Not on the very edge of the obstacle, and not in the middle. Just because if you put your arms too far away from the edge, it's gonna be harder, but still possible, to do the monkey over it. Just because you can actually get your foot on the table and then you will have to dive roll from it. And this is not the situation that you want to end up with. And why don't we want to use our hands on the edge of the obstacle? Just because your grip will come only onto the half of your arm, because the second part will just grip here. And so it makes it this way that we can slip away from that. So I would say the appropriate way to do that would to put the arms somewhere here. But just to go more into details, let's see that in a slow motion. Once again, pay attention to the run-up and the work of your arms. Then dive to the end of the table with putting your arms almost on the edge of it. Then do the simple monkey and land on your feet. So that's all what you need to know about the King Kong vault. And in order to progress, you may take a bigger distance, for example, like this side of the ping pong table, and you can just make a bigger run-up, bigger dive, and work on your technique. I've been working on it for like 9 years, I believe, and I'm still progressing because you can go a little bit further, you can go with a little more variations of it, and there's a lot of opportunities to do with the King Kong. And also the good thing that I would recommend you to do is to actually train your dive with making a diving roll over the table. That's gonna look like this. This thing is good in two ways. First of all, you will build confidence in diving, and second of all, you can practice roll by doing this. And so just after it, you'll feel more comfortable with the diving kongs and everything that required dive from you. And so another thing that I want to say is about the takeoff. There's a small detail about this. You don't have to go too close for the obstacle in order to take off. You want to be, let's say, in 2 or 3 steps before it. So the distance of 3 steps is this one. I don't know how much is it, maybe 60-50 centimeters. And I would say this is appropriate distance, but also it depends on the height of the obstacle, because if the obstacle is really small, you don't really care how close you are to it. And if obstacle is really big, for example 1 meter, 1 meter 20, then you would really want to go a little bit more further away from the obstacle, because your body will have to go over it first and only then you dive. And so that's all what you need to know about the King Kong vault. Thanks for your attention. My name is Alex and I see you during the next lessons. Cheers!